When 50 Cent spoke about Olivia, he casually admitted he lost $2 million on her career, but behind that admission was a darker truth. Olivia wasn't just an investment gone wrong, she was a pawn in a larger, ruthless game where power mattered more than music and where control was disguised as opportunity. Her story is not just about one woman's failed rise, but a chilling example of how the industry systematically exploits, isolates, and destroys artists who refuse to be molded into someone else's vision. From the very beginning, Olivia's signing wasn't about nurturing her artistry, it was about strategy. In 2004, 50 Cent's war with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. dominated hip-hop headlines. But Murder Inc. had Ashanti, a crossover R&B superstar who balanced Ja Rule's brand with mainstream appeal. For 50, the answer was simple: find his own Ashanti. That's how Olivia became the first lady of G-Unit. On the surface, it looked like a golden ticket. G-Unit was unstoppable, dominating the charts, selling out tours, and reshaping the hip-hop landscape. Olivia, freshly scarred from setbacks at J Records, was desperate for stability. To her, this deal looked like salvation. To 50, it was nothing more than war strategy. She was never signed to flourish, she was signed to fight his battles. But what happens when you're recruited not as an artist, but as a weapon? At first, the formula seemed to work. Candy Shop, with Olivia on the hook, exploded into a global hit. The single went platinum, climbed to #1, and made her voice instantly recognizable worldwide. Yet beneath the surface, nothing was being built for her. The success wasn't hers to own. It was 50's vision, 50's strategy, 50's victory. Olivia wasn't celebrated as an emerging R&B star. She was treated as an accessory. Her voice used to decorate someone else's empire. Even when it came to songs meant to push her career forward, the power dynamic was clear. Singles like Best Friend were framed as part of Olivia's journey, but every decision was dictated by 50. She didn't choose her direction. She didn't decide her sound. She was shuffled into a mold that never fit, forced into hip-hop lanes that suffocated her R&B instincts. Fans could hear the dissonance. She was never allowed to showcase who she truly was. From the start, Olivia's career at G-Unit was set up for collapse. And the deeper she tried to find her own voice, the tighter the cage became. How do you thrive when every move you make is controlled and every door to independence is slammed shut? Being the only woman in G-Unit was more than challenging. It was psychological warfare. On the outside, 50 Cent called her family, presenting her as a sister figure to the crew. On the inside, that so-called protection was weaponized as isolation. He warned the group not to get close to her, not to collaborate, not even to speak too freely. What seemed like safeguarding was actually a calculated wall designed to keep her dependent on him alone. It wasn't just business, it was manipulation. Even when mutual attraction between them surfaced, 50 twisted it into yet another form of control. By acknowledging it but forbidding any action, he created constant tension, leaving Olivia distracted and vulnerable, always second-guessing what was safe, what was allowed. Her artistry became secondary to surviving the emotional chess game surrounding her. When she sought outside collaboration to rediscover her R&B roots, particularly with Missy Elliott, 50 saw it as betrayal. A partnership that could have reignited her career was twisted into scandal through cruel rumors and whispered insinuations. By framing her creative independence as disloyalty, and by spreading toxic gossip about her relationship with Missy, 50 didn't just block opportunities, he poisoned them. Overnight, doors that could have led Olivia to her true audience slammed shut. How does an artist fight back when even their reputation becomes a weapon against them? Her sophomore album, Behind Closed Doors, was shelved indefinitely, wiping away years of work. Songs meant to define her career never saw release. To make matters worse, tracks she passed on or was blocked from recording went on to become defining hits for others. Missy Elliott's Let It Go became one of Keisha Cole's biggest anthems, but it had originally been offered to Olivia. Each missed chance wasn't just a setback, it was a wound, proof of how much was being stolen from her future. As if professional sabotage weren't enough, the public humiliation began. When G-Unit's beef spilled into the spotlight, Olivia became collateral damage. The Game, embroiled in his own war with 50, turned his attacks on her, launching the cruelest rumor of all, questioning her womanhood. In a misogynistic industry where a female artist's image was already fragile, such lies could destroy careers overnight. And that was the point. Even though Olivia refused to dignify the insults with responses, her silence wasn't protection, it was framed as weakness. While she kept her dignity, the damage spread. Blogs, radio shows, and gossip columns repeated the slander until it overshadowed her music entirely. Why is it always women who pay the highest price in battles fought between powerful men? By the time Olivia left G-Unit, her reputation had been shredded, her music delayed, and her opportunities stolen. Yet even then, her trials weren't over. The betrayal that followed cut even deeper because it came not from an enemy, but from someone she trusted as family. Rich Dallas entered Olivia's life as a manager and ally, promising to rebuild what had been lost. To her, he was a savior, someone who could finally champion her artistry without agenda. Instead, he quietly robbed her of royalties from her most successful independent singles, December and Walk Away. These songs were supposed to mark her rebirth, proof that she could thrive outside of G-Unit's shadow. Instead, they became the grounds for another devastating betrayal. The theft wasn't only financial, it was personal. Olivia considered Rich a brother, trusted him with her livelihood, and leaned on him during her most fragile rebuild. To discover that he had rerouted her earnings behind her back shattered her faith in the one person she believed had her best interests at heart. His excuses were cold, rooted in technicalities, dismissing her contributions while pocketing what she was owed. It was exploitation dressed up as business logic, echoing the very patterns that had haunted her entire career. How do you rebuild yourself when even family becomes the predator? Rich's betrayal stung all the more because he cloaked it in love. He called her sister, echoing the same language 50 Cent once used as he isolated and controlled her. Again and again, men in power disguised exploitation as protection, using intimacy as a leash. And as Rich pursued drama-heavy reality TV exposure over meaningful career moves, Olivia's artistry became background noise to manufactured conflict on Love and Hip Hop. The very platform meant to restore her credibility only further undermined it. To stay visible, she had to feed the show's hunger for drama. But every fight, every tear, every storyline chipped away at her image as a serious artist. It was a trap she couldn't escape. Without the show, her voice was muted. With the show, her artistry was dismissed. No matter how powerful her songs were, the reality TV shadow followed her into every room, every conversation, every chance at redemption. What does survival look like when your talent is buried beneath betrayal, rumors, and exploitation? Olivia's story is more than one artist's downfall. It's a brutal reflection of how the industry treats women, especially black women who demand autonomy. She was used as a pawn in label wars, isolated under the guise of protection, discredited by lies, and financially gutted by those she trusted most. Each betrayal chipped away at her momentum until she was left fighting for scraps of the career she deserved. Yet despite everything, Olivia's resilience remains undeniable. She continues to push forward, a survivor of storms designed to silence her. Her story forces us to ask hard questions about power, gender, and control in the music business. Because when you look at Olivia's journey, you see a chilling pattern. Men who call themselves protectors while systematically dismantling the women they claim to defend. And if Olivia's story teaches us anything, it's that survival in this industry often comes at the cost of innocence, trust, and years of potential stolen forever.